July 15th, and we're heading into the weekend. No Little by Littles Friday or Saturday, Sunday, but hope to find you at Calvary Chapel, Port Angeles if you're local. We'll meet at 8:30 and 10:30, and if you're somewhere else, hope you're finding a place to worship God with other believers and are being encouraged, strengthened, and maturing in your faith. Our readings today, July 15th, Joshua 22, Acts 2, Jeremiah 11, and Matthew 25. A lot of places we could go, but as I referenced yesterday, we're going to jump over to Matthew 25, and really it goes with Matthew 24, yesterday's reading, and talking about the things to come in the end times, really. And here in chapter 25, there's an emphasis that Jesus brings to being ready. And so we have a parable of the 10 virgins who are waiting for the bridegroom, and 5 were foolish, 5 were wise, and they had, their lamps and oils, and some had extra, so they were ready because you didn't know when the bridegroom was coming. And the foolish did not, they weren't prepared, they weren't ready. And so by the time they got their oil and proceeded to the wedding, they were too late, the door was shut. And so Jesus says in verse 12, "Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour." And definitely a reference to looking ahead and the coming of Jesus and the end time things, and we just don't know. We need to live life expectantly and ready and prepared. What does that look like in and for us? Well, the next parable is the parable of the talents, and this man going on a journey giving talents to his servants, 5, 2, and 1, and watching what they do with what he gives them is an interesting thing, because what we see here is the one with 5 made 5 more, and he's told in verse 21, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master." The one with 2 made 2 as well, and same thing. "Well done, good and faithful. You've been faithful over a little." But the one with 1, he said, "Master, I know you are a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid," verse 25, "and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours." But his master answered him, "You wicked and slothful servant. You know that I reap where I have not sown, and gather what I scattered no seed. You ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10. Everyone who has more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. Cast the worthless servant into the darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of this one, but there's a lot more we could study about this, especially that last guy, because seemingly in this parable, and this is where you have to slow down and walk through interpretation of parables, being faithful is a big deal. And when you're not faithful, there's consequences. And so we'll leave it at that, but whether you think you have a lot or whether you have little, gifts or abilities or opportunities, entrust your life to the Lord. Be busy about his business. Be desiring to be used by God, no matter what you have or don't have. Faithfulness matters. I was reminded of that recently as well. It's an encouraging thing, actually, because sometimes you wonder, but Jesus is looking for faithful. And so the chapter ends with really a separation between those entering into heaven and those who will not. And it's a kind of a sobering end. Towards the end here of Jesus' ministry on earth, of course his ministry continues in through the Holy Spirit and through his disciples, through you and I. But the end here of chapter 25, when the Son of Man comes in glory and the angels with him, he'll sit on his glorious throne, There's no one else. There's just Jesus. That's why it's so important we ask the questions. What are you doing with Jesus? How are you and Jesus? Right? Like, these are the questions we want to keep asking, not just to get saved, but in and through our lives as Christians, that we're ongoing asking that question. And are we utilizing the gifts and abilities that God has given us, that Jesus entrusts to us? And are we expecting his soon return? Because if you're expecting his soon return, we're going to be busy about the Lord's business. It's a good reminder today, going into the weekend, to not waste our days or our time, our moments. It's all his, so let's use it for his glory. Till next time, keep growing little by little.